An elite force of Uruk-hai have been sent forth from Isengard to hunt down the ring. But on their journey, they've stumbled across a Rohan settlement and couldn't resist the urge to pillage. Luckily, Eomer, the king's exiled nephew, has been joined by the White Wizard. Together, they are roaming the wildlands of Rohan searching for Uruk-hai to destroy. Will they be successful in defending the settlement and killing the Uruk-hai that will go on to harass the Fellowship, or will Eomer fall in this battle? Watch to find out. Hello and welcome back to Conquest Creations. My name is Jacob Lucas and today we have a really fun battle. It's 600 points and we have the Riders of Eomer going up against Lurtz's scouts.
Hi everyone, it's Al back on the channel again today. I've brought Lurtz's scouts at 600 points. So I've got Lurtz, Ugluk, 2 captains, I've got a banner and a drum, and a lot of Uruk-hai scouts. So this list is a really fun one to play because they're really fast, and Lurtz is a bit of a beast when he gets into combat, so we'll see how we go.
Now my army today is the Riders of Eomer. We've got Eomer, Gandalf the White, and then a handful of riders with a banner. This army can put out a lot of damage really quickly, but it is relatively low model count and relatively low defense, so we can also die quickly if things go poorly for us. Now, I really like this matchup because it's a really plausible what-if scenario. Eomer really easily could have come across the party of Uruk-hai before they made it to the Anduin, which would have totally thwarted Saruman's plans. Today's scenario is domination. That means that there are 5 objectives that Al and I have scattered around the board, with one in the direct center. This game ends when one army is reduced to a quarter of their starting models, and each objective is worth 3 victory points. There's also points for killing the enemy leader, as well as breaking the enemy army.
Won the roller for deployment, and I decided to chuck down one of my captain warbands just so I can see where these riders deploy before my big warbands go down.
I chose for Eomer to be my first warband, and he just went on the flank 8 inches away from the center of the board, so Al can't charge me turn 1.
I've deployed my other captain on the other flank because I still want to see where Gandalf's warband goes. I put a few archers in the tower just so they can get a good overview of the battlefield and hopefully get some shots off.
I went with Gandalf's warband next, and they're just on the flank opposite to Eomer. Gandalf and Eomer both have 12-inch move horses, so I'm pretty confident that I can link them up very, very quickly in this game.
I've deployed my leader warband with Lurtz in the center so it can support both flanks if it needs to, and Ugluk pretty close to him as well, as he's my next best hero.
And here is the state of the board. As you can see, there's a big gap between these armies, but we both move very quickly, so I think we're going to close that pretty quick. All right, let's go into turn 1. The scenery that we're playing with today is from the Kingdom of Saxonia Volume 2 Kickstarter. Here at Conquest Creations, we design scenery by wargamers for wargamers. That means that all of these pieces are easy to print, fun to paint up, and optimized for use in your favorite games, including the Middle-earth strategy battle game. This set includes all of the buildings that you can see that we're using here today, as well as modular walls, ruined versions of every single building, heaps of scatter terrain, and the all-important deep citadel. All of these come in the form of STL files that you can 3D print yourself. If you don't have a 3D printer, then there is also going to be merchants. These are people who have the license to sell the physical product, so you'll be able to find some that are local to your region once the Kickstarter wraps up. We've been having a ton of fun not only making this scenery, but also making this content. So if you want to support what we do here at Conquest Creations, while also getting yourself some amazing scenery at the same time, then check out the Kingdom of Saxonia Volume 2. All right, let's get back into this game. Turn 1 priority went to the good side, and I've decided that I'm going to start with Gandalf because his spell is going to inform what I'm going to do with the rest of my army. He's going to try to cast a blinding light. I'm just using my free, and I need a 3 up. A 1 will fail. Okay, well, we might not be out shooting Al this turn. This really isn't an ideal spot for me because Al can move so quick and he might be able to double move at the moment. I'm really just trying to get myself into a position where if that happens, I'm not going to take too much damage while still being able to advance on the battlefield. All right, Al, that goes into your move.
So I chose to drum this turn because I'm not going to be close enough to charge. It's just going to give me a little bit of extra movement. So I use that drum to get my models as far up the board as possible and even start to get a few flanking maneuvers on the Warriors of Rohan for next turn.
That goes to the shooting phase, and I've got plenty of shots here to throw into these Uruk-hai. Guys with those archers. After all my shooting, I managed to take down just 1 Uruk-hai on this side.
I took 4 shots with my Urukai bows, but it did nothing. I was targeting Eomer to try and take his horse out.
The priority roll this turn went to the good side. Al, tell me what we've done about that.
I decided to call a heroic move with Ugluk, because he's got pretty good move. Even though he's at the back of the board, he can help a lot of Urukai get in and hopefully stop that cavalry charge.
Yeah, we don't like that at all, so I've decided to call one with Eomer to hopefully counter that, and that'll allow me to activate Gandalf, which means I should be able to push some damage through if I can get this charge off. This is a massive roll-off. 1, 2, 3 goes evil, 4, 5, 6 goes good. Goes to the good side. That's awesome. I'm really happy about that. So I'm going to start out with Eomer, and he's got a 12-inch move on his horse, which is pretty fast, so he's going to run around and charge into these 2 Urukai. He's going to throw his throwing spear on the way through. Oh, but on a 1, he has missed, so he's just going to finish his move there. And then we're just going to try to get as much damage in as possible. I'm going to go next with Gandalf, and he's going to run around and charge into these 2 guys, but there's some important things happening on his way in. He's going to throw a 2-dice transfix onto Ugluk. He's cast it on a 5. Al, do you want to resist that?
I will throw my 1 will point at it.
Ooh,
it fails.
You are very transfixed. All of my models in the heroic have just moved up a bit. We're staying outside 8 inches of this flanking force, but if they run around that corner, I'll be able to hit them with some shooting. Next up, I have this group to move. They just want to avoid getting charged as much as possible. One of them is going to stand in the doorway to block those guys in, and the rest are just moving half to get outside 8 inches of the flanking Urukai force, because I want to keep them around my heroes for those heroic moves.
So now that all the Riders of Rohan have put themselves in the same spot, it's allowed my flanking forces to wrap around and close them off. Obviously I couldn't get any charges this turn because Jacob made sure I couldn't, but next turn I will have Urukai hitting both flanks, which will hopefully give me the numbers I need to get some kills. I decided to have Lurtz charge a Rider of Rohan. Lurtz gets a free heroic combat every turn, so instead of fighting Eomer, I thought it would be better to start killing some Riders of Rohan first.
All my Riders of Rohan are really hemmed in here, and I thought this was a good strat, but seeing how fast those flanking forces have come around has me terrified, because next turn, even if I call a heroic move with Gandalf or Eomer, they're kind of blocked in by my own guys, so I'm going to be getting hit pretty hard. But I've got some shooting to go with. My throwing spears have already missed, but now we're down to my bows. It's 6 shots hitting on 5s. Alright, that's pretty good, but we need 6s to kill these Urukai that are around the sides. Nothing.
Eomer's a bit of a threat because he's going to get a free heroic combat this turn, so I'm going to start shooting into Eomer's combat. So we'll do the first 2 in the tower that you forgot about. And on Eomer.
So that is going to hit Eomer's horse, Firefoot, and you need a 5 to wound Firefoot.
No
2's
wounds
not
on
good
the
enough,
horse.
we're still healthy.
I'm going to do my next 2 archers behind the fence. Nothing hits.
No hits, alright, so we made it through. That goes into the combat phase. I've got priority, so Al, do you have any heroics to call?
Lurtz gets a heroic combat for free every turn, so I'm going to call a free combat.
Yeah, absolutely. Eomer also has that same special rule in this army bonus, so I will call it with Eomer. He's going to call a free heroic combat. We need to roll to see who goes first here. 1, 2, 3 goes evil. 4, 5, 6 goes good. Goes evil, so Lurtz is first. I've got a charging Rider of Rohan. He's got 2 dice. I'm on a 3, which is not a fantastic start.
Let's see what Lurtz can do.
You have got the 6, so even with my banner reroll, because you have the higher fight, I'll still lose that. Can you kill me? You need a 5. I need a 4, actually, because he's strength 5. That'll do it.
Lurtz gets the kill.
My rider has to back away to make sure I'm not trapped, but then I am dead. So where does Lurtz want to end up? So Lurtz charging into Eomer. That's a pretty hectic move. I guess no matter where you ended up, I could have heroic combated into Lurtz, so it makes a lot of sense. All right, next up we have the Eomer fight. Now we're both fight 6. I'll set the bar for you. I'm on a 5. I've got a banner I can spend mine if I need to.
I'm
You're
on a 5 also.
as well, so I'll take a banner. You can take a banner if you want. Well, do you want to spend anything?
I will spend a point of might.
Yeah, that means I'm also going to spend a point of might to match you at the 6 there. So this is a really big roll off. 1, 2, 3 goes evil. 4, 5, 6 goes good. Oh, I really hope I win this. Hey, huge.
No.
Goes to the good side. I'm going to be striking at Lurtz with Eomer. I need 5s to wound him. That is 2 wounds, but every time I roll a 6th wound, thanks to my sword Gulthwine, I can take an extra attack. So that's just 2 wounds from Eomer's first attack. Here's his second attack at Lurtz. That's a 3rd wound. My 3rd attack at Lurtz. Oh, that's a 4th and 5th wound. They're both Gulthwine strikes, so they both get an extra attack. Oh my god. So that is another... Okay, Lurtz is super dead. And I've got 1 more attack to make. I'll just put it against an Uruk-hai. Oh, you know what? I'm going to put it against Lurtz just in case he goes crazy lucky. Nothing. So Lurtz has taken 7 wounds.
Look, not what I wanted, but Lurtz has a 6-up save.
Yep, oblivious to pain.
So hopefully he's oblivious to that much pain. We will see. I need a lot of 6s to stay alive.
You've got a fate point as well. You need a lot. That was not enough.
I only saved 1 wound, which means there's no way the fate point can keep me alive. Lurtz is now dead.
Well, quick game is a good game, and that was a pretty good start. I'm still... Look, taking out your lead is good. I'm not out of trouble yet because I think next turn's going to really hurt for me. The 5 phase finished off with me getting 2 more kills on Uruk-hai, and then my 1 rider that got charged just had to push back. Here at Conquest Creations, every single time we make a video, we're trying to make it better than the last one. And one of the biggest improvements that we've had recently is this incredible new dice tray. This was made for us by Zach from Sherlock's workshop. And if you want to get your hands on something similar just to boost your wargame experience to that next level, then please follow him on social media. The links are in the description down below. Seriously, the workmanship is absolutely incredible. He also sent me this awesome bottle opener that's been getting a workout recently, as well as this cool pipe that just are on display here in the studio. Seriously, Zach, thank you so much for your awesome workmanship. And let's get back to the video. Please give him a follow. And here we are at the start of the next turn. Priority roll-off went to the good side, which is really, really helpful for me. Al, what are you going to do about that?
I've decided to call a heroic move with each of my captains in the flanking forces. So hopefully I can just trap those riders in and stop them charging. Yeah,
so it's an expensive move from you, but look, I would love to be able to counter it, but I can't just because where my heroes are positioned. And because Ugluk hasn't called one, I can still charge with those heroes. So I'm honestly just going to let you do that, and it might feel bad, but look, I had a great turn. I can take some casualties now.
So I just needed to tag as many models as possible just so they can't freely charge in their movement phase. So I've just run in my captain with a friend, and then the other Uruk-hai I've just tied up as many riders as I can. I had far more Uruk-hai on the other flank, and I managed to get them all in, so I've got a lot of attacks going at those riders.
That goes into my move, and I'm going to start out with Eomer. He's going to do a throwing spear at this guy here. That's a hit. Need a 5 to kill. Oh, nearly. So he's just going to charge him. Then Gandalf is going to charge in and can't quite wrap into those guys in the back, so he's just fighting 1 guy at the moment, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's as good as I can do. When Gandalf moves, he's going to Sorceress Blast this captain. I'm really just trying to take, hopefully, some damage off my riders. I'm using my free and 1 from my store. I've just got a 3, which means that's failed to cast. My move finished up with just some shimmying and that Bannerman standing in the middle of my group. I wanted to use the Look to the Light ability, which would have given Al -1 on all of his fights, but it's only against charging cavalry, which I don't have very many this turn. So that goes into the rest of your move, Al.
I think I need to put my banner in a more beneficial spot. So it's actually going to run through the house.
So he's not going to be beneficial that much this turn. You can see him through the window with a few guys, but next turn he'll be over on that flank. So you've shimmied around. What's moving next?
I think I want Ugluk to go fight Gandalf.
Oh, that is a risky play.
It is a risky play, but I'm ready. I think it's time to start taking a few risks.
Al's shooting was completely ineffective that turn, and I obviously didn't have any because everyone's tied up. In the heroics phase, I'll call a heroic combat for free with Eomer. Anything from you?
I'm going to call a strike with Ugluk.
Yep, and you know what? I'll strike with Gandalf because I'm on the charge. I could potentially flash kill him. We're going to start with Eomer's combat. You want to set the bar for me?
I decided to shield.
Yep, I've won that. Your banner won't be in range for that guy. So first round of strikes, got the kill. Eomer's just going to use that to charge into these 2 Uruk-hai. I could go after Ugluk, but Ugluk struck, so I don't want to fight him. Eomer charged in and got 2 more kills, racking up my kill tally. That section of the fight phase went poorly for Rohan. We took 4 casualties, which doesn't sound like that many, but we've only got 16 models. All right, it's Gandalf fighting Ugluk. Let's strike. I'm starting from fight 6, fight 7, fight 8. You're also fight 8. That's pretty big, but that Elven Blade should help me out. I'll set the bar. There's a 6.
Well, I need a 6 to tie the fight. I don't get it, and Ugluk's dice were the brown dice.
Oh no, that's not good.
It's not good at all. Ugluk's just lost that fight.
So Ugluk is in a bit of strife. Needing 4s to wound. Here's my first 2 attacks. That is 2 wounds on Ugluk, and I'll put the next 2 attacks at him as well. There's 4 wounds on Ugluk. I believe he's dead. Priority this turn once again went to the good side. Al, what are you going to do about that?
I'm calling a heroic move with the captain with his axe in the air and hopefully stop those horses charging again.
Yeah, that's valid. I'm going to call one with Gandalf to try to counter you. 1, 2, 3 goes evil. 4, 5, 6 goes good. And it goes evil this time. Look, I can't be too upset. It's about time.
So my plan was really just to stop as many of these riders charging as humanly possible, which I think I was pretty successful with. I've got a lot of Uruk-hai in the fight at the moment.
That goes to my heroic. It's going to start out with Gandalf casting a 2-dice Sorceress Blast on this captain. Let's see if I can get it. Cast on a 6. You do have a will point if you want to try to resist that.
I think I will try to resist.
A 5 won't resist. You can might it if you want to, or you can just get hit.
I will spend the point of might as well.
All right, wow, big choice. Gandalf is then going to finish his heroic move by just charging in here. He's not going to call with me because I have priority for this turn. I'm just going to try to engage the Uruk-hai where I can in an optimal way. Keep my banner in the center, and Eomer is going to go and hunt some of these archers. That took us to the shooting phase where these Uruk-hai up in the tower, as well as their friends down on the ground, fired into the combat with Eomer. You managed to kill one of your own Uruk-hai archers, so take him out. But you did just put a wound on Firefoot, which is the name of Eomer's horse. So I've got my Expert Rider, which on a 6 up will ignore that wound. That's not a 6, so I'm going to use my Fate that I can use to try to save my horse. So first Fate, failed. Second Fate, passed. Okay, so Eomer just has 1 Fate left, but he's still riding a horse. All right, that goes to the combat phase where I'm going to call a free heroic combat with Eomer once again, but that's it. Any heroics from you?
No heroics from me.
All right, let's start fighting. The fight phase started off with Eomer getting a kill, and now I've got to decide where he goes. Eomer's horse Firefoot allows him to move 12 inches, so he's going to run all the way around here and charge 2 more Uruk-hai archers. Eomer had to use his last point of might to win this fight, but he killed 2 more Uruk-hai. I think this is worth it because it means the whole back of the board is open. And the fights raged. In the area where all of my Rohan weren't charging, I took 2 more casualties, which honestly wasn't that bad. And then my rider that did charge managed to win the fight, pushed the guy back and didn't kill him, and then Gandalf got another 2 kills. Priority this time went to the evil side. Al, how do you feel about finally winning one?
Look, it felt good to win a priority, but now Gandalf's called his move, so I don't really get to move first.
Yeah, so you're out of might on your side of the table now, but with Gandalf using that, I'm also out of might, so after this, it's really just rolling priority and hoping. Gandalf is using his Look to the Light ability, which is going to mean that all of your models have -1 to their combat phase against charging Rohan this turn. He's also just going to shift over to here. He can't really charge his turn because I want to make sure all these guys can move exactly where I want them. And then he's going to cast a 2-dice Sorceress Blast at this Uruk-hai captain that doesn't have a will point. I've cast it on a 5. Now you can't resist that, so it's a strength 5 hit, which doesn't do a wound, but he is prone.
In my move, I chose to engage with as many Uruk-hai as possible. I just want to try and hopefully win those fights. So I've got as many Uruk-hai still fighting next turn. And I did have 1 Uruk-hai run off to grab one of the backfield objectives. He's gone into the house.
And in my move to finish off, I just charged into this scout with Eomer. He's got a heroic combat, so you can use that to bounce off and go anywhere he wants. That goes to the shooting phase. Al, you fired with these 2 guys in the tower, down into Eomer once again. What'd you do?
I shot into Eomer's combat, and I actually killed the dude he's fighting, so he doesn't get a heroic combat anymore.
Yeah, so he's just left there hanging. That goes to the combat phase. We're going to start off with my 1 rider of Rohan who charged into your captain with his 2 friends. I want to see if I can get the kill here. All right, how about you set the bar here because you're on -1 to this roll.
Okay.
So that's a 6 down to a 5. I need a 6 here. That's not it so far. I do have a banner. No, that's not it at all. So your captain just stands up and then see if the other guys can kill me. Yes, they can. So my rider's taken out and your captain stands back up. I'm 1 off break. That fight phase went pretty well for me. I didn't lose any more riders, so I'm still 1 off break, and I managed to kill a handful more of these Urukai. Al is now 4 models away from break. He's lost over half his number, but why don't you count as broken yet?
So in this particular list, I only break once I've lost over 66% of my starting number.
Now I've just won the priority roll-off, and this game ends on quarter. I just want to make sure I can actually win it, so I am going to try to start going after some objectives with my troops. In my move, I'm just charging in. I've managed to get Gandalf in. He threw a Sorceress Blast, but didn't manage to do any damage, and then Eomer charged into another captain. I made a mistake in my lines, and I left a 25 mil gap here, which meant that these 2 Urukai could run through for my bannerman, so he is in a bit of strife. I kind of need this game to keep going for me to get to these objectives, and that takes us into the combat phase, where Eomer will be calling a heroic combat once again, totally for free. All right, set the bar for me, Al.
Okay. I'm on a 6.
I need a 6 as well. I've got the 6. So, first strike on the captain. That's 1 wound, and Gulthwine will allow me to roll that again. Actually, you're D5, aren't you?
I am, yep.
So that is 3 wounds so far on the captain, so he'll be dead, and I'll put all the dice into his mate, who's also dead, on the 4. And Eomer is just going to charge into your banner to try to get another kill there. Eomer's next fight saw him taking down that bannerman, and it's opened him up, if the game goes on another turn, to go after an objective. Gandalf lost his fight and pushed back. I was actually pretty happy about that, because I don't want Al to quarter this turn. And the rest of the fight's finished off by me killing another Urukai and not taking any casualties, so I'm still 1 off broken. This goes to the next turn, where Al is 1 model off quarter. So this is very, very likely to be the last turn of the game, and you've just won priority. There's no might left on the board, so it's all up to you. Where are you going to start?
It's time to take a courage check. So my captain will take a courage check.
This would be a good one to get. Pass.
He passes.
Great.
It's all good. He's going to run around, and he's actually going to charge 2 riders.
Yeah, this could be dire straits for me in terms of actually getting these objectives.
This Urukai needs to pass a courage check for me to hold it. And
He's all good, so that is a lot of VP. That's 3 VPs in your pocket right there.
2 friends in the tower. We'll go the first one. He passes.
Yep.
And his friend also passes.
Also passes. So what are you going to do with them? I presume they're going to climb down and try to get to that objective in the open there?
That's exactly what they're going to do. Time to go to the bottom of the tower.
Yep.
So they climb down the ladder, and then they should come out here.
Nice. That gives me a really short move phase. This one guy is just going to run into this building to go and capture that objective. And that goes straight into the shooting phase. I don't have any shooting. You don't have any shooting?
Not this turn.
Brilliant. So I'll do a heroic combat with Eomer. There's a lot of stakes on this, because if I can kill these 2, I can heroic combat and get in range of an objective. Let's see the fight though. I'm on a 5. You need a 6 to beat me. No 6 there.
I don't get it.
But I'm not on the charge, so I'm only strength 4. I need 5s. Oh, huge. Got them both. So those models are taken off, and Eomer is just going to use his 12-inch move to end over here within 3 inches of this objective. In the last few fights, Al was desperate to get a kill. He even had the bannerman trapped, but wasn't able to succeed, as I just won the fights and pushed him back. So that is game. Al, you've been quartered, so here we are just tallying up scores at the end. Firstly, you've got this objective held by the archers that actually had a decent game up in that tower. And then you've got this objective as well, so you're on a total of 6 points. I'm going to get 1 objective here with Eomer, thanks to that heroic combat, 1 here with this guy, and 1 with that rider who stayed at the back. So that's 9 points total. And then I'm also going to get another 5 for breaking you and being unbroken, as well as killing your leader. So a total score of 14 to 6. Well, that was a good game for the Riders of Eomer. This is only my 2nd time playing them this edition, and they felt really, really good. It did really help me that some of these roll-offs went my way, but what can I say? It is a dice game, and you got to make the most of it when the dice are on your side.
That was a rough game. I swung for the fences, and it didn't pay off. I did a few really risky plays that if I could have taken out Eomer early, I would have been able to get a really good lead early on, but losing my heroes early was rough.
This has been Conquest Creations. Make sure you check out the Kingdom of Saxonia Volume 2 Kickstarter, and until next time, have a good one.